Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk, from tornadoes, hail, terrible air quality, and the ongoing drought, the weather in Indiana has been a roller coaster this week.
There was people everywhere coming to help. Locals, farmers bringing their tractors out to try to help clear the roads.
Ahead, team coverage. A slew of new laws take effect this weekend. We'll run through a few of the biggest ones you'll want to make sure you know about. Are American Legion posts going to be able to continue? Many chapters are confronting that question because of aging memberships.
We need this younger generation to come in and support us. We are slowly dying off.
Those stories plus the latest news headlines from across the state right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Perry Metz, sitting in for Joe Wren. The weather is our top story tonight, and we're not talking about just one event. Smoke and haze from the Canadian wildfires drifted into Indiana this week, leading to some of the worst air quality in state history. Over the weekend, a severe round of storms swept through the state, sparking several tornadoes and leaving behind a path of devastation. Despite a few rain showers, the state is still stuck in a stubborn drought. Corn and soybean farmers are looking at some of the worst crops they've seen in decades. We have team coverage tonight. Ethan Sandweiss leads off on Sunday's deadly storm system that spawned at least 4 tornadoes.
4 tornadoes touched down in Indiana Sunday in Martin, Johnson, Davies, Du Bois, and Monroe counties. Johnson County residents captured cell phone footage of the funnel cloud as it dropped through the clouds and ripped through buildings in its path. Structure damage was spread over a 3-mile area. At least 75 homes were moderately or severely damaged, including an apartment complex under construction. About 2 hours south in Martin County, another tornado turned deadly.
That had a max wind speed of 120 miles per hour, which is rated as an EF2 tornado. And that tornado was on the ground for about 9 miles and max width of about 500 yards.
A man was killed and his wife seriously injured south of Shoals when that tornado crashed through their lakeside home, trapping them beneath rubble.
I don't know how long it took for responders to be told about it. Tornado warnings went off around 4:30, and the ambulance was called at a little after 5.
Emergency crews from around the region and worried neighbors struggled to reach the couple through dense forest, downed trees, and power lines and blocked roads.
There was people everywhere coming to help. A lot of locals, farmers bringing their tractors out to try to help clear the roads. People, friends and neighbors, chainsaws.
Responders labored through the next day to clear the road of debris. A tornado in southern Monroe County damaged homes and structures, but no injuries were reported.
It reached peak intensity of 100 miles an hour EF1 west of Rockport Road before damaging a house in a nearby outbuilding. And another house had extensive roof damage along Rockport Road before it lifted just to the east of there.
Hail up to 4 inches in diameter caused further damage in the path of the storms. The glass dome of the historic West Baden Springs Hotel in French Lick was shattered by ice.
I've never heard anything like it, but I've never seen hail that size either. Those panes of glass have been up there 120 years, so I would imagine we've never seen hail that size here.
Fran says the hotel was at 50% capacity and that there were no injuries. The roof was damaged, but it's already been repaired.
It was very, very localized. Unfortunately, it was centered on the West Bay atrium. All the rooms are fine. The roofs are fine. The only thing that's off limits is what's behind me here in the atrium until we can make it safe for guests to get out there.
Fran says he doesn't know how long it will take to fix the glass atrium or how much it will cost. While the atrium is off limits, the hotel is still open for guests. And the hotel has alternate spaces to hold events as well. Fran says the hotel plans to upgrade the material of the building to avoid future damage. The Pete Dye Golf Course at French Lick also sustained hail damage. Fran says crews have made repairs and the course is now reopened. Last weekend was the second round of fatal tornadoes this season, following a storm in late March that leveled homes and killed 3 in the town of Sullivan. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
As Ethan said, last weekend was the second round of fatal tornadoes following a storm in late March that leveled homes and killed 3 in the town of Sullivan. My colleague Clayton Baumgarth joins us now. Despite the storms, much of Indiana is still in a drought.
That's right, Perry. Nearly 60% of the Midwest is enduring moderate or severe drought conditions. That's the widest coverage since 2012.
Even on a stormy day like this, drought is on the minds of farmers across Indiana.
We see some stress in the afternoons, especially in the cornfields. They begin to roll up, and some of them it's in more severe areas. Looks like a field of pineapple almost when it gets really stressed.
Compounding the issue is the burst of severe weather earlier this week, with large hail damaging many crops throughout the state. Some, like Carnahan, haven't hit crisis levels of drought stress yet. But other areas of Indiana are in crisis, according to the National Weather Service.
If you get up into the northwest parts of Indiana, places like Gary, Rensselaer, Warren, and Fountain counties, those areas have had a lot less rain, and they're actually in what we call a severe drought.
In the next few days, a change in state weather patterns will bring some much-needed rain, though it may not be enough to end the drought. Puma says many more days without rain could send us back to the dry conditions we had in May.
Hopefully with this change in the weather pattern that we're seeing, we'll get into a period of more occasional rains that we see every few days, and hopefully that can gradually bring us out, and that will certainly be good for our folks with agricultural interests.
For now, the rains are being welcomed by farmers.
I've noticed down here in the creek bottom, it might be a small area, 5 or 6 acres that flooded, and we may have to do that again later, but this rain was a godsend, and we're grateful for it.
Only time will tell if this burst of rain will turn into a sustained relief from an unusually dry summer.
And Perry, scattered storms are in the forecast again through this weekend.
Thanks, Clayton. Now, smoke from Canadian wildfires is clearing out, but for much of the week, it's blanketed the state, putting our air quality at unhealthy levels. Dan Sitzo, a Purdue professor of atmospheric science, joins us now. Dan, we know the smoke in Indiana is coming from the 500 or so wildfires burning in Canada, but why has Indiana been receiving some of the worst impact?
Thank you for having me on. Yeah, it's a bit of a luck of the draw. Unfortunately, our weather has been coming from the north, and that's been winds coming from the Canadian wildfire area and blowing down over the upper Midwest. And unfortunately, we've gotten a lot of that, as well as the East Coast getting a lot of that over the last few weeks.
What exactly is in this air, and why does it make people sick?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. It's the gases and the particles that are being emitted by these wildfires. And so unfortunately, it's a bit like getting a face full of smoke from, your campfire or something like that. And so what's triggering a lot of people is that those particles can cause inflammation. So for those that have cardiopulmonary problems as well as asthma, they're getting a lot of those particles into their lungs. It's causing those problems. And that's what's triggering a lot of the health effects that we're seeing right now.
Now, as we are talking, the sky is less smoggy. It's not as visual, but is it safe outdoors?
Yeah, the good news is that after the winds have sort of moved some of this off to the east, and we had that intense rain yesterday, that's helped clear our air out. And so that's led to much better air quality for our residents. So except for those most at risk now, it is safe outside. And certainly the visibility is one thing that we can see that these particles are there, but people should be monitoring their air quality, listening to the weather, looking at meteorology apps. They often contain air quality index, and that'll help them understand if they're at risk or not.
Will that index also tell our viewers what's happening with the ozone problem that often crops up in summertime?
Yeah, that's a great question. So AQI, or air quality index, is a combination of those particles that we talked about earlier, as well as ozone. That's another thing that causes a lot of health effects. Those are sort of wrapped up into air quality index. It's a bit like a sports advanced metric. So it's an easy to understand number that gives people an idea of if it's healthy or unhealthy. And ozone itself is often also reported on a lot of meteorology sites and apps. So people that are at risk should pay attention to those.
One last question. Do you see a connection from the wildfires to the drought to the severe storms that we've had?
Yeah, our climate is changing right now, and I think, as most people know, it's getting warmer, and that's leading to drier conditions in a lot of the U.S. and Canada, and that's part of what's triggering this. Certainly, our warm season is extended earlier, and it extends later in the year, and so we're seeing a longer fire season, and so certainly droughts, climate, and wildfires are all connected.
Thanks very much for being with us. That was Dan Sitzo, professor of atmospheric science at Purdue. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. Starting July 1st, school librarians could face felony charges if they provide materials that are considered harmful or obscene. A look at that and other new laws taking effect this weekend. Plus, doctors say the Dobbs decision has had a chilling effect on patients. 1 year after the Supreme Court decision, where abortion access stands in Indiana. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
I've always believed that people are at the heart of every story we tell.
Any story or interview that makes people who watch it say, I hadn't thought of it in that way. That, for me, is gold.
I like to be able to leave the viewer with some sort of emotion, whether it's outrage, whether it's someone overcoming long odds, telling a big story through an individual story.
What makes the NewsHour different is that we have time to be thoughtful about the stories that we tell, the voices that we intend to elevate.
I know the role that good journalism plays in making all of us feel more connected to each other, in helping all of us understand each other a little bit better. I see this as a mission, and I see this as a service.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Indiana lawmakers passed more than 250 pieces of legislation in 2023, and the vast majority take effect Saturday. Legislation will now ban new non-compete agreements for primary care physicians in Indiana. The bill leaves out specialists such as neurologists, gynecologists, and podiatrists. July 1 marks the beginning of a loan fund that local governments can access to pay for infrastructure for new housing. Some builders say those infrastructure costs add as much as $57,000 to every new home. The state pension system can no longer have ties with financial investment managers with ESG policies. Those are policies which consider the environmental or social impacts of their investments. There are exceptions. The state can keep doing business with them if there isn't a comparable provider, or if ending the contract wouldn't provide a financial benefit for pensioners. Many new laws are aimed at students and teachers, including a controversial one that will allow parents and community members to weigh in on what books students should have access to in schools. Republicans say the law empowers parents, But Democrats warn it will lead to the banning of books that tackle controversial social issues and feature marginalized characters. Some important changes to Indiana's criminal laws. People who track others electronically without their consent would commit a misdemeanor. It can be a felony if the person has an unrelated conviction for domestic violence, stalking, or invasion of privacy. On-duty police officers will now have a 25-foot bubble around them that the public cannot cross. If someone does cross that invisible barrier after being told to stop, they could get up to 60 days in jail and a $500 fine. And the list of people who can be charged with child seduction expands July 1. Long-standing law has made it illegal for certain people in positions of power to engage in sexual contact with a 16 or 17-year-old. That list now includes workplace supervisors. The new measure also closes a loophole that mistakenly left out coaches who were unaffiliated with a school. Now for the latest news from across the state, we're joined by Lucas Gonzalez.
Thanks, Barry. The Supreme Court overturned decades of precedent this week when it eliminated schools' ability to consider race as one of the many factors it uses in deciding among qualified applicants. Supporters of the practice, including the University of Notre Dame, have argued it's essential for creating a diverse student body. Reactions from Indiana's higher education institutions noted that they were still reviewing the Supreme Court's decision. Indiana University officials underscored their support for exposing students to wide-ranging viewpoints and diverse backgrounds that may differ from their own. A spokesperson for Purdue University wrote in a statement simply that they would follow the law on the matter. The Indiana Supreme Court says lawmakers can ban abortion unless it puts the mother's life at risk. The court handed down its decision this morning. The ban will go into effect in the next week or so. Indiana was the first state to pass new abortion restrictions in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision last year to overturn Roe v. Wade. Even though Indiana's ban has been in limbo, some OBGYNs say it's still created fear among doctors and women.
I've personally seen patients try to attempt to end pregnancies in ways that were unsafe and dangerous because they thought they had no other option.
There is also another lawsuit challenging the abortion ban. That suit argues that the ban violates the state's Religious Freedom Restoration Act by infringing on the rights of those whose religions accept and even encourage abortions in certain circumstances. A Marion County judge temporarily halted the law from taking effect in that case, but only as it applies to the small handful of people who brought the suit. Monroe County Commissioners are poised to vote next week on the creation of a Capital Improvement Board, or CIB, to oversee the Monroe County Convention Center expansion. City and county officials have been working for years to advance the expansion project, but there's been a long-standing dispute over what type of body should oversee the project. The CIB will be a public group responsible for financing, construction, and operation of the new facility. The Commissioner's approval is the last step needed to form a CIB. U.S. Senator Todd Young says housing affordability is a major impediment as communities and companies try to match workers with available jobs. Young is proposing legislation aimed at lower-income housing and neighborhoods. That includes a measure to expand the low-income housing tax credit program, which Young calls the preeminent mechanism to getting affordable workforce housing built.
Most people who live in low-income housing tax credit homes have jobs. They're trying to support families.
Young says the need for housing also goes beyond younger people in the workforce. He says it's a growing concern for older Hoosiers who want the choice to age in place. Employees at a Bloomington Starbucks are taking steps to unionize. They want better compensation and more inclusion for LGBTQ+ workers. Employees at East 3rd and College Mall say their hours have been cut, which means they can't make a living or access benefits.
Customers show us their phones for their Starbucks app, and they have more money in their Starbucks card than we do in our bank account. And that's incredibly demoralizing.
Those issues had Bloomington workers considering unionization, but Sharp says a manager recently removed a pride flag, and that was the final straw. Nationally, workers at over 150 union Starbucks stores are on strike, partly over alleged policies banning pride displays in stores. You'll pay more this year for your July 4th barbecue. Prices for usual cookout items are up about 8% in Indiana. If you host a barbecue for 10 people, it'll cost you about $6.95 a person. You can blame the increase on more expensive ground beef, chicken breasts, and even chips and lemonade. Police are warning Hoosiers ahead of the July 4th holiday that they're increasing impaired driving patrols. The increased patrols start today and run through July 8th. The number of alcohol-related traffic fatalities did decline slightly in Indiana last year, down from 115 to 110. But law enforcement leaders say impaired driving is about more than alcohol. The Indiana Criminal Justice Institute says drug-impaired driving is a growing concern. And Perry, the state is encouraging Hoosiers to drive sober by offering free and discount codes for Uber and Lyft during the holiday through the Sober Ride Indiana program.
Thanks, Lucas. And folks can claim those discount codes through a link on our website. Bloomington's American Legion Post is the largest in the state, but most of its members are now in their 80s and 90s. Leaders say they're worried about the Legion's future if they can't attract younger veterans. Ethan Sandweiss has more.
Adorned with flags and insignia, the bar at American Legion Burton Woolery Post 18 has veterans lining up for drinks at lunchtime on Friday. Some of them are here with their grandkids and wives. Early this month, Post 18 Commander Mike Ferris said the American Legion isn't just a place for vets to buy cheap drinks.
Mainly, we are a safe space for veterans, we'll put it that way. They can come up here and they know they've got people that know what they went through.
At 65, Ferris is one of Post 18's youngest members. He's been a member 27 years. With fewer young veterans getting involved, he's worried about its longevity.
The World War II vets, I hate to say it, are almost gone. And Korea's and Vietnam are dropping off really fast. And none of the younger folks are interested in coming out here for whatever reason.
Raymond Krebs replaced Ferris as commander in late June. He's been active here for nearly 4 decades, but the 81-year-old wants to see someone young take the reins.
I'm one of the old guys that needs to be put to rest. And we need this younger generation to come in and support us. We are slowly dying off.
When Krebs got involved in leadership about a decade ago, he said Post 18 had over 1,300 members. Now he says its membership goal is 1,140. Fraternal societies have seen declining membership across the board, but the American Legion faces a unique demographic challenge. Fewer and fewer living Americans served in the armed forces. There were 16.5 million veterans in 2021, 11 million less than in 1990.
Just this week, we have done 7 veterans' funerals. Only one of them has been a member so far. And that trend is getting worse.
Krebs says that's not the only thing keeping young people from taking over. His volunteer role is like a full-time job, and young families face economic pressures that he didn't at their age.
Now, mom and dad and the oldest son has to work to make ends meet.
Several Legion posts have closed in Indiana in the past few years. Many that remain only have a handful of members. Post 24 in Columbus discussed closing at a meeting earlier this month, although members decided against it. Local Legion posts assist veterans in the form of education, career assistance, finding housing, and paying bills. On a national level, the organization advocates for policy. That's why Ferris is determined to keep his chapter running as long as it can.
It's not looking real great, but we just need to adapt. We may or may not be in this building in 10 years, but we'll be somewhere. We're not going to close down. We'll be somewhere because we've still got to fight to keep the veterans' benefits going.
The Bloomington Post at 1800 West 3rd Street is named in honor of Sergeant Burton Woolery, the first casualty from Monroe County in World War I. He was killed July 29, 1918, in France. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
Burton Woolery Post 18 turns 104 this year. It serves lunch and dinner to members as well as the general public. Now, the terrible stench of Indiana University's corpse flower is fading, but you can still catch it in bloom for a little bit longer. Wally, as the plant is named, began blooming on Tuesday. The corpse flower is special for a lot of reasons. It typically blooms every 3 years and at night. The corpse flower emits a smell similar to rotten flesh to attract pollinators that lay eggs on dead animals.
When we first bloomed, for me, it was like, wow, I never thought I'd see one, blooming, and we're very fortunate we have one at our university right now.
Thousands of people waited in line to see and smell the flower. Leichler says Wally is likely the only corpse flower in the state that's available for the public to view. After a bloom, the plant will go dormant for 4 to 5 months until it is ready to start making new leaves. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Enjoy the 4th weekend. We have a list on our website of local activities, including a number of fireworks displays. And if you're in Bloomington, you can catch the news department Tuesday in the July 4th parade. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.